Hello, your local Nintendo News Smurf returns again. Good morning, Mario, and good morning, Switch fans. Let's face it, probably not morning. That's just the way things go. I've slept in lately. I needed more sleep, but the internet Nintendo juggernaut never stops running. It never sleeps. And that's why I've got two main topics I want to discuss with you. Update on the Smash Bros. Amiibo front and update on Nintendo Switch 2 front. So what's going on, everybody? Hope you're doing fantastic out there. I cannot wait to shower. Tomorrow morning, I will shower. You let it sit for 2 or 3 days so then the dye stays longer and more vibrant. But once I shower, get these marks off and it'll kind of just fade a little so it looks more like hair. Anyways, enough about that. Let's talk Smash Bros, okay? Amiibo restock. That has been the talk of the town lately, and a massive restock of Smash Wave 1, Smash Wave 2, Mario Amiibo, Zelda Amiibo, Metroid Amiibo, lots of stuff being restocked and nobody knows why. Although there was a huge report and I made a video on it linking these Amiibo restocks of the past for years and years during the Switch era to new updates in games. So like the Mario Amiibo are probably for Mario Wonder, the Zelda Amiibo possibly for Zelda DLC, the Metroid Amiibo possibly for a Metroid reveal. The Smash Bros. Amiibo, what are they for? Well, we've got new fuel to the fire because these Smash Bros. Amiibo, they have different packaging. The restock is showcasing a packaging that removes all mentions of platforms, and I've got a few thoughts on this. The original Amiibo packaging were for 3DS and Wii U. Bada boom, bada bing. Nintendo then introduced the Switch, and they had to change up the packaging, because now these dear little figures worked for Switch, Wii U, and 3DS. Now Nintendo is going back to the drawing board, and with this restock that has already hit some retailers in Europe, the Amiibo box is now platform agnostic, meaning there's not a single mention of any platform on it. Two trains of thought going on here. One, Nintendo is prepping for new hardware, and Amiibo will work forevermore. Therefore, if they get this packaging out now, they don't have to redo it again, right? They don't have to do a new one that says like, oh, the Super Switch and the Wii U and the 3DS. They can just have the Amiibo packaging. It's generic, it looks good, it's basic, and it's Amiibo. You can use it with compatible software. Have a game, I don't know, it will travel. So it could be future-proofing. It could be something that is getting ready for a year down the line. They want to have Amiibo in stores. Get rid of all these ones that just say Switch, Wii U, and 3DS, and have only Amiibo for compatible software. The other thing could be, and I am more akin to believe this second hypothesis, they don't want boxes on store shelves that say Wii U and 3DS. The Wii U is a burn mark on Nintendo's beautiful coat of consoles, and the 3DS is basically defunct at this point. The new 3DS and the Wii U are not really being marketed, sold, manufactured, games, nothing. So why advertise these defunct systems, and why have this on the box when in reality, like, it's a little confusing, a little strange, and if you are going to at any point introduce a new platform, well, now this box is just even crazier, because now this box is talking about consoles that don't exist, but not consoles that do exist. It's a headache. I think that possibly Amiibo have been around for so darn long that they just want to get Smash Bros. 3DS and Wii U off the back of the box. They want to get Wii U off the back of the box, 3DS off the back of the box. It's a bad look for the brand. It makes it seem old. It makes it seem outdated. It makes it seem like something that you would use from yesteryear. And so rather than putting current games on there like, oh, throw Smash Bros. Ultimate on the back, let's just make generic Amiibo packaging so we never have to do this again. Nintendo probably does not want to reprint a ton of cardboard. It's a waste of resources, a waste of time, a waste of money, and a waste of a sad reminder of the Wii U. So I think this is probably just equalizing the playing field, but it could be future-proofing. Either way, we still don't have an answer as to why Nintendo are doing massive Amiibo restocks. Some people think that they're going to be adding a new Fighters Pass Volume 3. Some people think they're going to add the already existing Fighters Pass to Nintendo Switch Online. Some people think nothing is going to happen. Nintendo just wants you to buy more Amiibo, but Nintendo has not aggressively marketed Amiibo for years. So a massive restock of this caliber, there's got to be something coming that will increase demand. And I think it's either a new Fighters Pass or Fighters Pass being added to NSO expansion pack. And we'll probably find out in about a week and a half when there's another Nintendo Direct. Everyone's expecting it September 13th. I'm still feeling that sauce. But let me know what you think about this new Amiibo box. Do you think it's prepping for Switch 2? Will Nintendo keep making Amiibo into next generation? or will they put them to rest? They've used them less and less, fewer and far between. You can see like there was a ton of amiibo for Breath of the Wild. And Tears of the Kingdom, despite having maybe even more hype, didn't get as many. So I think the amiibo train is probably rolling to a halt. And that's another reason I believe that this generic packaging is more just about erasing the old rather than embracing the new. I don't know. Maybe Nintendo will make amiibo forevermore, but it has not been a focus for a very long time. I think amiibo will definitely work forwards with the Switch 2, but I don't know if they're going to make new amiibo. I don't know if they're going to introduce more and more Mario, Kirby. Like, is it necessary? Like for Mario Wonder, what would we do? Elephant Mario? Okay, I'm back on board. Give me Elephant Mario amiibo. I want it. Let me know your take. Let's move to Switch 2. We talked about this massive Switch 2 leak, the biggest yet, and if you haven't seen that video, go check it out. It's advertised as the biggest Switch 2 leak, and it sure was. From a Hero2, who is an infamous Atlas leaker predicting a bunch of correct things in the Persona franchise, as well as connections with Square Enix. They came forward and said, hey, both Square and Sega have Switch 2 dev kits they have for a while, and they're doing big stuff. The interesting notes here were that it has a cool camera feature, like a new gimmick, that the cartridges are different, that the console is backwards compatible, and that Final Fantasy VII Remake runs like a charm on it. They quoted as saying, as good as a PS5 looking and running, the port took no time at all, no problem, and it could be a launch game. Now that's a lot of information, a lot of sauce, a lot of, I would say, assumptions, right? A new cartridge, you can't really assume. You either know it has it or it doesn't. We've heard a lot of things about new cartridge, and that makes sense. The camera, you either see it or you don't. The porting, how long it took, what it looks like, how it runs, if it'll launch on the system. These could be interpreted different ways. And that is what both Nate Drake and Necrophilippe over at Nintendo Universo are saying. Now, Nate Drake is a little more cautious. Necrophilippe is way against this. But they don't say specifically what they're against. Let me just read this to you, okay? So we have Necrophilippe saying that it's total BS. All right, he is calling BS on I'm a Hero 2's leak, saying that it's BS. He responded directly to a news story talking about this leak, backwards compatible camera, Final Fantasy VII Remake launch game, BS. But what is BS? Is it BS that the Switch 2 is in the hands of Square Enix? Is it BS that it's backwards compatible? Is it BS that it's a camera? Is it BS that Final Fantasy VII Remake is a launch game? Is it all BS? Is Necrophilippe BS? We don't know. But then Nate Drake comes in, and I think he gives a little bit more insight here. And he says, I've wanted to avoid commenting on this, but yeah, there are significant inaccuracies in the claims made. Now this narrows it down. This tells me that the whole thing isn't BS, that I'm a Hero 2 has been a valid leaker, came out of retirement, still a valid leaker. But we've got these insiders starting to battle, starting to clash. It's the NFL season, clash of the big bad football teams, clash of the big bad and sometimes really good Nintendo Switch leakers. Nate Drake, though, saying there are significant inaccuracies has me thinking that some of this is correct and some of this is not. And like I mentioned a minute ago, it makes way more sense for the camera, the different cartridge, and the Switch 2 dev kits to be correct, and the Final Fantasy VII part to be significantly inaccurate. And here's the reason why. Again, if Final Fantasy VII was ported to Switch, it could just be as a test. If Final Fantasy VII was ported to Switch, it may not be a launch game. If Final Fantasy VII was ported to Switch, maybe it doesn't look like a PS5. There are so many aspects of the Final Fantasy VII Remake part of the leak that I could see significant inaccuracies solely revolving all around that. Now, the camera, the new cartridge type, the backwards compatibility, those are much safer guesses, much safer features, and things that plenty of people have talked about. We've heard new cartridges a lot, and it makes sense if you're going to be dramatically increasing the size. Probably a different cartridge is going to be in need. Backwards compatibility would be stupid not to, and a camera is something that we've heard a couple times, and Nintendo has experimented with before, and if you do see a dev kit and it's got a camera, boom, you can call that out. So I think that the inaccuracies are probably tied to Final Fantasy VII Remake running very well, looking like a PS5, easy to port, no time at all, and a potential launch game. Perhaps Nate Drake and Necrophilippe know that FF7 is not coming to Switch at all. Maybe there is just that kind of a deal in place and it's going to stay on Sony or it's going to go to Xbox first. Who knows? I feel like what's being hinted and indicated here is that the specifics of the Final Fantasy VII Remake aspect of the leak are BS. And that is the part of the leak that, unfortunately, had people the most excited. It was the different elements. Final Fantasy VII coming to Switch is great. Looking like a PS5 is too good to be true. And an easy, quick port job made me so stoked for all sorts of third-party games. Now, it's not to say that all of those are inaccurate or all of them are true. There could be just nuances here, and I think that's why BS from Necrophilippe doesn't give us details, but there are significant inaccuracies in the claims made. That seems to be a much more nuanced approach, and that seems to indicate that some of this stuff is really spot on, but it could just even be the PS5 stuff, like getting people hyped for it to be PS5 quality. Maybe Nate Drake and Necrophilippe know that that's going to be a humongous letdown and a massive point of contention, and they want people to be excited for PS4 level graphics. And so saying PS5 is just like setting up a terrible precedent. It literally could be just that part of the leak, or it could be the Final Fantasy VII part as well, or it could be more about the lineups. Because remember, I'm a Hero 2 also talked about the lineups for Sega and for Square Enix / Atlas. That's what I have to say about this. I think we're going to have a lot of back and forth for a few reasons. One, everybody wants to be right. Two, everybody wants to be the featured Nintendo leaker, or at least a lot of them do. They want to be known as the one who's correct. And three, it's a lot of buzz. Now, I don't think Nate Drake is guilty of this. I don't think he tries to draw extra attention, but there are leakers out there that just want the clout. They just want the shine. So it's a great time to make leaks because Nintendo stuff is always the biggest leak, like has the biggest leak audience, the most attention. And we're at like the biggest time, this dividing line between generations, and we've been anticipating this for years. So there's a lot of clicks and views to be received from leaks like this. But at the end of the day, I still do think I'm a Hero 2 is a valid leaker, and I bet you that like at least half this stuff is very accurate. I would hope that like 80% of it's accurate, but TBD. Nate Drake supposedly is still holding on to information that he has to wait a little longer to reveal. The birds that were singing back at Gamescom, yeah, the friend NDA, apparently that still hasn't expired, and we need to wait a little bit longer so he can protect his source and let us know what's going on with Switch 2. But I'll keep you posted as soon as that happens. Still lots of exciting stuff to go down. What's happening with Smash Brothers? When's the next Direct? And who is the leaker we can trust? Feels like some sort of Survivor challenge of like, until they prove themselves super accurate, they all about to prove themselves guilty. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy, stay positive out there. Love you lots. SwitchForce out.